I've been trolling Whisper. Partly because it's fun, but it kind of pisses me off sometimes too, especially when you start talking to a commie collectivist who doesn't seem to quite understand the concept of personal responsibility and wants to just keep talking about the evil white people, essentially. So I made this post, trolling Whisper, of course, saying, I'm black and my family's low-key racist towards white people and I don't like it, essentially. And so this person responds to me, and they're basically trying to say, yeah, but what about all this stuff white people do to black people? And then they started, like, talking about neo-colonialism, which the U.S. is, like, worldwide. Yeah, okay, like, I understand, but I don't know that that's a new sort of situation going on. The U.S. has kind of stuck their ass into fucking everything. It's just... never mind. Anyway. So this moron, they're trying to argue with me about this shit. It's like, dude, you're getting off topic. I'm talking about the original post was about racism in an individual black person's family, right? Theoretically, that's the whole premise behind the post. And this is why I like trolling. Trolling is good because it makes people try to think. And I want people to get out of this collective sort of bullshit that they want to engage in. It's this collectivism that says you're oppressed, you can't get anywhere in life, white people are holding you down, you're a failure, you're never going to be a success. Because quite frankly, if you have to blame your failure on someone else, you have to blame your success on someone else as well. And you know what? It feels a lot better when you go, no, I'm responsible for my failures. Me. Personally, myself, and I think this is one of the big problems with the racism in our country is it's so collectivized because these motherfuckers don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. But if they did, they would come to a point where they were more successful in life than they had ever been any point ever if they just took responsibility for their own failures. And then this person, like, brought up the drug war. I'm like, it's immoral on all counts. And they couldn't even argue with me that I was white because I said I was black, essentially. And that's like the free fucking pass to talk about race and politics. Anyway, I wanted to share with you, and I deleted his fucking thing. I wanted to keep it because I wanted to read the article, but no. Okay. But I'm going to read you some other responses I got as well. So the original post says, I'm black. I see my family and friends low-key act racist towards whites. I hate it. I hate the hatred and the envy. It's tiresome being the only one in my family who doesn't hate white people. And then some guy responds, let's make beautiful mixed babies and they'll learn to love it as it's... Oh, let's make a beautiful mixed baby and they'll learn to love it as it softens their hearts. Goddamn horny motherfuckers. Let's see, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So other people responded. They said, we appreciate you not hating us. Okay, well, that's good. And then another person said, that's because racism stems from all sides, not just white, not just black, not just Asian, etc. Racism doesn't discriminate. It just spreads the hate regardless of descent or your fate. Which I disagree with the concept of fate altogether, but I do like that sentiment. Oh, they're salty. They're salty! I blocked them and they're salty. Okay, they said, they responded on my post, you're a black person who makes up excuses for whites and tell blacks to get beaten with a smile. You need to actually read and stop being ignorant. When did I say it's okay for... beaten? Like, Like, what the fuck? Read what? More. Racism? No thanks. I blocked you for a reason. Be salty elsewhere. Yeah, so essentially this person just, like, seems to think that I think that as a quote-unquote black person, you know, me trolling, that I think it's okay for black people to get beaten by white people because I don't hate white people. And I don't want to blame the entirety of the white race for what people did in the past and for what a corrupt few are doing now. It's like, I'm 24. I'm coming into the political system now. Okay? I didn't create the drug war. I disagree with the drug war, you idiots. It's like, the drug war is immoral on all fronts. It's not just because it affects black people to a greater extent. It's because it's immoral overall. Why is it this has to be this separation between white and black? Why is it a white and black situation? Why is it not, can we look at people who are doing shitty in life and try to figure out a way to help them not do ass shitty? I have family out in the Midwest that are rather poor. Yeah, they're really rolling in that white privilege there. Yeah, my second little baby cousin, she's really rolling in the privilege while her mom ran off on her and she doesn't know who her father is. Well, so her grandmother is taking care of her, has adopted her, while her grandfather can't work because he's obese. So, yeah, they're really rolling in that white privilege. They're really oppressing black people. They're really beating up on the black people. And I hate this concept of, well, you can't have a institutionalized racial system without other people supporting it. It's like, we don't fucking support it. We don't. But what you perceive and what actually goes on in the world are two completely different things. You're buying into the propaganda when you believe that we are collective. No, we're 50 different fucking states. Oregon has a different culture than Washington. Washington has a different culture than Texas. Texas has a different culture than New York. I do not understand this urge to just collectivize all white people as a whole. This motherfucker was even trying to collectivize the white people from the United States and the white people in Europe and mush them together and be like, look, you people are evil. It's like, okay, Europe is getting run over right now by Islamic extremists that are literally destroying Europe right now. Did you forget about Barcelona? Did you forget about London? Did you forget about France? The fact that in Paris, there's literally no-go zones where you could get killed for having blonde hair? I'm just against hatred, and these people, they're so hateful. They want to blame all their problems and all the problems of the world on one specific group of people. But the problem is, we're not the only ones causing the issues. He brought up neo-colonialism, as if that's something I care about. Okay, why would I care? I'm in the US. Why would I care about something that's going on in Europe right now? Other than the fact that it's fucking fallen apart. If Europe, while it's in the midst of collapsing, is doing some colonialism outside of of Europe, which I don't know how that's fucking possible unless it's like Poland or something. Or, you know, because they haven't let in any refugees and haven't destroyed their country. I don't think Poland's really into that, though. I haven't heard of any neo-colonialism going on in Europe. The only neo-colonialism I know of going on at the moment is the Chinese who are coming down into Africa, and I don't know, they might not be enslaving people, but they're doing what we did to the Chinese, or maybe not what we did, but corporations, giant ass corporations did. And where they're probably paying, you know, them like, you know, 10 cents an hour or something like that. So the Chinese, they're trying to support their consumer middle class right now, and so they're starting to import, and I find this really funny because it's just a repetition of things that have happened in the past. The United States, they had a wealthy middle class come up, they started producing, we became a consumer society, and then we started importing shit from China. Well, China's going through the same thing right now, where because they had so much industry and creation in China for so long, because they've been exporting to other countries, they're getting a wealthy middle class now, and so now they need to import goods from another place to have cheap shit for their their middle class people. And so they're doing the same thing to Africa. And I don't know, considering how it worked out in China became a mixed model type situation, and they actually have a middle class now. I don't think it's such a bad thing. Now, the other issue, of course, which nobody wants to talk about because white people aren't involved in it at all, is the fact that Arabs enslave black people all the fucking time in modern days. It's not white people causing black people the vast majority of their misery. In fact, you know, you look at the United States. What has caused the black community to be in such a shithole that it is right now? Okay, well, we can look at political influences. So you can look at like the drug war and all these things. You can look at welfare. You can look at, you know, there were, I think, pushes, especially from like the Planned Parenthood side, which a lot of people don't understand, that Margaret Sanger was actually kind of a racialist who was for the white race. And, you know, abortions and the disintegration of the black family. And then, of course, whenever I try to bring up personal choice, they just want to ignore that altogether. They don't want to understand the concept of, well, I'm in a shitty situation, I better take responsibility for my shitty situation so I can get out of the shitty situation. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, red, yellow, green, blue, purple, rainbow colored hair with the toxins eating out your brain. I don't care what you look like, who you are, what you sound like, what your ideas are, and what your dreams and goals are. It does not matter who you are. It is a fundamental truth of the universe that unless you work hard to overcome your failures and accept responsibility for your personal situation, you will not get out of it. You will always be oppressed. You will always be the victim. And that is so hard for me to fucking deal with when I want to preach this message of, dude, you're not oppressed. You can get out of it. You can crawl your way out of this quote-unquote oppression. Look, you didn't have to go sell that weed. You could have moved out of your neighborhood, you know, jumped a fucking bus ticket, you know, slept on a park bench and found yourself a job at Walmart. But you know what? People are too elitist and too egotistical to fucking think of doing the hard work that it actually takes to pull yourself out of poverty. Look, I'm in a privileged position because of my family's wealth at the moment, okay? I'm not going to pretend that, but it's not because I'm white. I'm going to put that out there very clearly, because I've got white family who are not privileged. I have white I've got Asian family who privileged, not privileged. It doesn't, I don't know where you'd put them. In comparison to, like, fucking Thailand, we're all fucking privileged in the United States, except for maybe those old guys who are, like, on the streets and have to sleep in the cold every night and stuff. That's kind of shitty. But, of course, they're white, so no one cares. And they're men, so no one cares. Personal responsibility is the only way that a collective group can actually pull themselves out of poverty. I watched this with my family. My family came from poor working class backgrounds. And I know it has to do with personal choice. My grandfather was a hard-working son of a bitch. He was in the Army Air Corps as a mechanic. That's hard work. And then when he got older, he had 2 jobs. He worked at the mill, which will fuck up your lungs, and it's a lot of heavy, intensive labor. And then he also did his own auto body shop, which is a lot of intensive labor as well. But you want to know why he did it? Because he had this dream, this goal, and he had this sense of personal responsibility for his children, to make his children's life better. And in some ways, he was able to do that. In other ways, he wasn't. My dad is the success story of the family. Him and his closest brother are the success stories of the family. The sister, she's disabled. They don't have a lot of money. But that's okay. But it definitely discounts this concept of privilege. It discounts the concept of privilege when you still have, half the family on that side is still poor as fuck and in poverty and not rich. I mean, come on, just because my dad's rich doesn't even mean the rest of his family is. Like, we're a group's made out of individuals, and individuals need to take responsibility for where they're personally at. And that's the only way you have a healthy group. It's like decentralizing, right? So if you have a big government bureaucracy, you can make it more efficient by decentralizing it and spreading out the power evenly. It's the same concept in groups. If you want to put responsibility on an entire group and you say you function as a collective, you get the Nazis, you get the communists, you get the fucking socialists. You see what's happening in Venezuela right now. It's falling apart. Literally just falling apart. In the United States, people were able to raise themselves to great heights of wealth because we were in a situation, especially early on, where we didn't have a shit ton of government intervention. We weren't working as a collective. We were working as individuals in a country that chooses to unify itself. I hate racism. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it against black people. I hate it against white people. I hate it against any group of people, Asian people, whatever. Okay. I'm not going to respond to this person anymore. They're kind of moronic. Okay, so I'm going to look at other things that I trolled. Okay, so here's another, and this isn't as trolly, but it's definitely in the right category to get a conversation going, and some of the responses are just repugnant. I'm sick of, so the post that I put was, I'm sick of hearing black racists saying that white people aren't born human. Like, what the fuck? I just don't understand that mentality. And the thing is that these people do exist. Just because you don't have, experience with these people does not mean that they don't exist. I want to put that out there. So the first response is, I'm not buying it. Okay, I can't respond to that because sorry you don't accept reality or truth. That's not my problem. And then Another person says, please don't search out black racists and then complain about what you found. You can't find these people in real life. And so I responded, sorry you don't think black racists who spew... I'm sorry, I said, I didn't search it out. I was watching a commentator that I normally watch, Anthony Brian Logan, who is a fantastic conservative commentator. I almost don't want to mention his race, but considering the fact that people are so racist nowadays, he's black. Get that out of the fucking way. Alright. I'm not seeking them out. When they put themselves out there, they definitely exist in real life. And I said, I'm sorry you don't think black racists who spew such vitriol don't exist simply because you haven't experienced it for yourself. I'm a black girl. I have family like this. This is my real life. And then they responded to something else. They responded to one of them and they said, yes, they exist, but how do they compare to white racism? Which is the bigger problem? So I said, why does one need to be a bigger problem? All racism is bad, evil, terrible. You get the point. All racists are retards. Doesn't matter the color. This is my biggest problem with these idiots out there right now. They want to compare one group with the other and go, yeah, but this group's worse. It doesn't fucking matter. They're both bad. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists. I'm not going to lump peaceful white identitarians in there, although I do not agree with the racial construct of it all. And when I say racial construct, I mean constructing society in a way that's racially defined. I don't mean race as in race is a construct created by society. No. The other way around. They want to compare groups. They can't just go, oh, these two groups are evil. They're dumb motherfuckers who are making us look bad. They have to go, oh, but white races are so much worse. They're both bad. I don't know what this is about. Why do you have to make white people be the worst all the time? Why is it so bad that you can't, why can't you just judge the one woman who's sitting there and she was literally saying, all white people are racist. White people are not born human, and white people are, what did she say? She said white people are raised to be demons, essentially, or something along those lines. She literally said this. You can go look up Brian Anthony Logan and find his recent videos, and you can find this video of this rather large black woman, which he makes fun of repeatedly, and I find it hilarious. Because he's so, like, he's got this very calm demeanor, like, hello, I am Anthony Brian Logan, and I'm going to talk to you about this and that, and give my perspective on it. And then all of a sudden he says, now I don't understand why she's wearing this. I'm not against people who are like 1,000,000 pounds, but can we wear something else? Anyway, it was just funny. I'm sure somebody out there is gonna go, fat shaming! Honey, you need fat shamed. We're not supposed to be fat. We're supposed to be lean, mean, fighting machines, okay? You're supposed to have raw energy and power behind you. You're supposed to have force. Being a fat ass doesn't give you force and power. Being a lean, mean, fighting machine does. Alright? That's why my spirit animal is Conor McGregor. Okay? Okay. So that's one idiot. Okay, so this apparently means that my statement is just... Okay, OP is 24 years old and lives in a town which has an average income of at least $100,000 and approximately 90.7% white. Consider these facts in evaluating her statement. So I'm responding to them. I'm black and I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Baltimore. 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 Okay. And then somebody else responded, goddamn honky's at it again. I don't know what that means. I've literally never in my life heard someone say that. Yeah, okay. And so I watched... So I told them about the video that I had watched by Anthony Brian Logan, which I'm doubtful that they looked up. Oh, this one bothers me too, because they say, oh, poor white people being racially oppressed. And then so I go, oh, someone, I guess they didn't like my response, but my response was, who says who said anything about oppression? Because I literally just said a statement about hearing black racists, you know, basically call white people demons and shit. That's your response. I'm not saying we're fucking oppressed. I'm saying I hate the hatred and the bigotry and the vitriol. What is wrong with hating hatred? I do not understand this at all. People are like, you hate it when black people are racist towards white people? What's wrong with you? It makes no sense. Racist. Okay, I'm gonna say this one last time. Racists are retards. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Indian, Native, the Aboriginal, Eskimo, Samoan, Guamanian, whatever you are, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Atlantean, Spider-Man, Green Lantern, alien, literal alien from the show Alien, and Predator 2. I mean, it really does not matter what you look like or who you are or what your dreams and goals are. If you're a racist, you're a fucking idiot, especially in this day and age, which Okay. I'm getting a little worked up here. I'm gonna end on some fine words of wisdom from a black man. Oh my God, a white woman quoting a black man. I must be racist. Judge not. I dream of a day where we can judge not by the color of somebody's skin, but the content of their character. And for those racists out there who don't know who said that, that was Martin Luther King Jr., the leader of the civil rights movement, which gave people who in our country who are not white in the South, and I gotta specify this because you gotta understand, this was not an entire country thing where there was like a shit ton of racism and like Jim Crow laws. It was like down in the South, and it needed to happen in the South, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm losing steam now, so I hope you guys have enjoyed me rambling about me trolling racists on Wisterber, because I want to start these conversations. I want to get people thinking about the concepts of collective versus individual responsibility. And the thing is, you can't have collective responsibility when it's your individual responsibility to make your personal self successful. It starts at the individual, and then you build up to the community. It always starts with the individual, and then you build up to community. If you have dysfunctional individuals, you're going to have a dysfunctional community. If you have functional individuals, you're going to have a functional community. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works, and you have to accept your personal responsibility. If you're a black woman and you choose not to be with the father, and you choose to take that welfare, and you choose not to work, you deserve every second of your misery when it comes around to that. And if you're a black man involved in gang violence, and I know a lot of these people feel like they have no choice, but you have choice. You always have a choice. You just don't want to make the hard choices that mean that you have to sleep on that bus stop or on that corner until you find that job, or ask for help from the government or something. You have to make those hard decisions. You have to take personal responsibility. If you're in a shitty situation right now, and this is some advice that I took to heart, become a workaholic. You become a workaholic, people notice. When you have a good work ethic, people notice. The universe smiles down on you and goes, you're sacrificing in the right way. Well, let me throw something your way to make your day. Oh, you. It's essentially what it's like. It's like the universe goes, that person's working really hard. Let's give her a little reward. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, you got that raise you weren't expecting. Oh, look, she's smiling. Oh, okay. Whatever. The opposite happens, of course, if you don't take responsibility for your actions. The universe tends to shit on you. You tend to end up in the spot where your life is chaotic, where your life is a mess, where nothing is going right. And if you don't take responsibility for where you are in that chaos and how you got there, there's no way you're going to see the way out. You have to actually think about how you got there and what actions you did that got you there. And I gotta tell you, it's better than the alternative for 100%. And when I say that, 100%, you know? Because the alternative is you're stuck. You're stuck and there's no forward momentum. You're stuck and there's no way out. You're stuck and you can't claw your way up to the top, out of the pit you're in. And that's not right. That's not true. It takes a lot of fighting and you're gonna fail. But as long as you're trying, you're winning. And that's important. With this whole racism conversation, people want to put blame for their personal failures on a collective group of people who don't even know your name. You can't blame them for your personal failures. You can only look at your personal failures and go, how can I make myself better? How can I make my situation better? How do I claw myself out of this misery that I am so that I can feel better? Have a good day.